It can cost a lot to fill your raised beds, especially if you've got deep beds that are 2 or 3 feet high. And, for a lot of us, if we're bothering with raised beds, we might even be doing it for a reason to bring that ground up to something that's more workable, a little easier on the back, less bending, less stress that way. So one of the things that you want to look for are some ways that you can take up some of that bottom space by using organic materials that will eventually break down and that will become one with the soil, but that are a lot cheaper and save you money on the soil end of things. So a few good options. You can see here we've got a pile of logs here. Those make an excellent bottom layer if you want to even give yourself better protection from grass and weeds that might be under where you're putting your beds. A good solid layer of cardboard, and then start with your bigger things like the logs, and then move up to basically your flatter and lighter things. One thing about when you are using wood, if you have some older wood, something like this that's kind of punky and started to rot, these are really excellent. They help you control your moisture. You're getting rid of wood that you probably aren't really likely to want to burn anyway because it doesn't burn well. It's not a good heat source. But when it rains, and with the water, punky wood like this will kind of soak that in like a sponge and then slowly release it. Wood chips are another one, again, working up in layers from the big to the thinner. So you might do a layer of, say, cardboard to protect against weeds, and then larger logs, punky wood, maybe some soil or compost in between, and then some chips. But mostly you're saving your good soil and compost for the very top layer. Some other things that you could add on top of these are old vines and stalks and stems from garden plants, say from the year before. Things like broccoli stems, kale stems that have some good bulk to them. Great organic materials. The only caveat there is that you wouldn't want to put something in that was a big disease problem. But other than that, you work up in your layers to that thicker to the thinner, topping off with a good solid, say 18-inch layer of soil, and you'll be good to go. Anything else like leaves, grass clippings, look around your yard. What have you got? What are you piling that's waste? Your compost pile is an excellent resource for your raised beds. One thing that a lot of people do have concern about, especially if you're using a lot of wood, is whether or not this will be a nitrogen problem. There is some truth to that it doesn't steal nitrogen, but it does use nitrogen as it's breaking down. However, if you've got this in the bottom and you've got a good solid layer of soil above that, you should be in fine shape. You could also add a little extra nitrogen fertilizer to your soil to kind of accommodate that. But this is, nitrogen is more of an issue when it's mixed into the soil, where you've got this in layers and this is down below. It will over time turn into some great soil. Now, you will have some settling over the years too, because as these break down, they will settle. And all you need to do there is top your bed every year with either a little bit more soil or compost. Great thing to do, especially if you're going to be raised bed gardening, is keep a good compost pile going, and that will be there to both replenish the nutrients and rebuild the soil as it settles over the years.